Morning. So Doc, you're going to show us a video on trimming out windows in a simple manner, clean manner. Why are you showing us a fireplace? I think it's important. So when we took this place basically down to 2x4s. So it's so dark in here, I don't even know if you're really even going to be able to see it all, but whew, man, it smells moldy in here. This is what we've got. This whole fireplace was torn out, the firebox, everything. The new firebox, new brick. But here's the important thing. One of the carpenters that was here on site was fabulous. He was a fabulous carpenter, by the way. And basically he put two 2x4s on here, and then he started cutting piece by piece by piece. So this mantle that you see was actually probably 1,000 cuts. He did an absolutely fantastic job. I sort of drew it out. I found one online, I changed it, I drew it out, and he just built it from that picture by hand. That's a craftsman. That's a craftsman. I don't consider myself a craftsman. I've built furniture. When I was in high school, I built furniture. We had a shop class. I'm very skilled with tools, but I don't consider myself a craftsman. And one thing I hate to do is I hate to do miters and angles. So what I want to do today is, first of all, let me show you what we did on the farmhouse. Now, you can see we've got shiplap up. We use these 17 beams from the 1700 tobacco barns in here. We wanted everything to be white and clean lines. That's what we wanted, all clean lines. Because if you go back and look at an 1800s farmhouse, it's not very ornate. It's like, get a roof over my head and keep me out of the rain. And so what we did was, same thing I'm gonna do over in the cabin. You can see these are basically just a box trim, very simple, around all the doors, up at the top, no fancy molding. And down at the base, you can see it's a big 8-inch. It's a big 1x8 board straight with a quarter round on the bottom. And so that's what we did in this whole house. And that's what we wanted, very clean lines. So today, I'm gonna show you how to do this. You don't need many tools, but you probably need a table saw or a way to rip 1x4s, because you're gonna have to adjust. I'll show you in a minute, but you're gonna have to adjust the depth of this board. You're gonna have to rip down a 1x4 on this depth. And then this is a regular 1x4 just nailed on here. It's very simple. So anyways, I'll just string it together and we'll go from there. And it is cold out, by the way. It's 26 degrees. I know it's probably colder where you guys are, but man, let me tell you what, for some reason today's 26 felt really cold. So I'm gonna take you over to this cabin project that we're doing. I'll show you some of the trim work that we're doing. If you haven't watched my other videos, I showed you the shower install, I showed you the sink install the other day. The drywall's gone up, it's been painted. And basically I'm gonna treat this, you guys will understand the purpose of this cabin in a couple months, in about 1 or 2 months. I'm actually gonna use it as a studio, and we're gonna do something different this year. But my brother, if he comes up to hunt, it's actually probably a livable space for a week or so. You know, it's kind of like a tiny house. So you can see I've got, this is not a OSHA approved job site, trust me. I still got all my tools. I was so tired yesterday. So let me just go in here and I'll show you what's going on. I just turned the heaters on. So there's the little kitchenette area. Got that all installed. I got water, I got power. I did some trim work up on here. We're gonna paint that. But this is what I wanted. Oh, in case you're wondering, this is the tongue and groove wall we put up and stained. I got to rehang the barn door. The other day, the plumbers came in, finished off the vanity, the toilet, and then we have the sink, the shower with a rain head, a full-size hot water heater. I added a, God, what do you call those things? Drop it in the comment. Pressure relief tank. So here's what a window looks like when it's bare. So they come in, you have bare wood, and then you have sheetrock, okay? This is what it looks like. Now you have to trim that out. Well, all you're gonna do is you're gonna take this measurement, this is I think 2 7/8, and you're gonna want it dead flush with this outside sheetrock. You're gonna put a board here, and then we're just gonna butt up 1x4s up in here. That's all we're gonna do. Now I did the same thing around the door. Around the door, just a clean butt. On the floor, on the baseboard, we're gonna do the same thing. So today I'll show you basically how I do this, but here's the finished product. Let me step back a bit without breaking my butt. So, finished, unfinished. Very clean, very simple. We'll just come up, just put a little bit of spackle, we'll paint this white, and there we have a nice clean window. So, I'm just gonna string together some of the work I was doing. If you wanna watch it, watch it. If not, dude, Netflix or Prime or whatever's on. My electricians are gonna be coming out here next week. We're gonna finish up. I got a ceiling fan with a light, cool black one. I got a chandelier that's gonna go up here. They're gonna need to finish wiring it all up. And yes, I'm gonna put a mini split up here. I'm actually gonna get a black one, I think. A black mini split up here. We'll do a TV here. This will be a pull-out bed that actually looks like a cabinet or a dresser. Not a Murphy bed, it's actually a cabinet. And it's a full-size queen. So this will actually be a nice little comfortable space. $36 1/4 and 36 1/8. 36 1/4. 36 1/4. Left side against the window. Yeah, that's perfect. I'm just using 18 gauge nails to pop it up. Excuse me, yeah, 18 gauge. Perfect. That's a little too tight there. You're doing this is don't try and force it in. You want it to actually go in kind of gently, like that. Because you want that play in there. One of the reasons why I like using the 18 gauge is that if I ever have to pull this wood off, it's so much easier taking off an 18 gauge than it is a 16 gauge nail. Go forward a little bit smaller. Again, flush with the sheetrock. So I've got my interior boards all put out here. You can see those. Now I'm going to get my other boards and I'm going to overlap approximately. I'm going to overlap about half this wood here. So I'm going to come out and it'll be like right here. And it'll just be a square butt mount, just like we did up on the door there. This is the inside board in here. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting this board where there's a 1/4 of an inch gap down there and a 1/4 of an inch gap here. Got it? Oh, man, my back is getting sore. So this is how I block frame, very simple. I just put a piece of wood in here, goes up against the window, leave about a 1/4 of an inch, just over a 1/4 of an inch gap right there. Overlay with 1/4 of an inch, overlay 1/4 of an inch. Then we'll just block this. If you need to putty this, you can putty it and then you paint it. And it's a very, very clean. I've got my big shop back here, but I can't reach where I need to reach. And the best investment I've made, and I don't know how long, is that it's like a 25 foot vacuum hose. So I went up, got my small shop vac, I got my leaf blower. Believe it or not, that filter still had sheetrock dust from the original house project. So I just spent 20 minutes blowing all that out. But I've got like all this dust and everything up here I need to vacuum and you can't reach it. This, oh my goodness. This is amazing. I've worked with some master carpenters over the past 4 years. I'm not one. I hate friggin' angles. Oh, so here's what I'm doing. I've got this rough sheetrock finish up here, and what I'm doing is I'm just taking a piece of just PVC L, and what I'm doing is I'm just going to trim it out in this L. But man, I hate cutting angles. I know, it's just a 45, right? Yeah. Wait till you get on a cut saw and try and figure out which way you got to cut that angle and turn that board. It ain't simple. Ain't as easy as a book. Good Lord, man. Okie doke, so that's done. That doesn't look too bad. Put a little caulk on here. And what's a nice way to finish it off?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't do nothing. I'm like, damn, I need to go to the hospital. Be like, all right, went to the hospital.
We're just talking about my daughter and her family had influenza A. And I was telling John, people laugh at me when I tell them I get a flu shot every year. I've had influenza. The one time in my life I wanted to die was when I had a really bad case of influenza A. It was bad, dude. I mean, it was like 7 days in bed. All right, so one of the greatest tools I have, I was just telling him, he wanted to know what that was. This is one of those bits that you just push on. You don't have to keep changing bits. I love this thing. Get one of these things. All right, so we're hanging this door back up, and so far, knock on wood, it's going well. We'll see. Whew, man. All right, so that was a butt whipping. So we got the door hung back up. This is that barn door. I actually raised it up. Jesse had it like right even. I raised it up, so I'm gonna have to put the anti-swing device on there, but that's all done. I got one window done. I gotta do all the other windows. I got the door done. John and I have been out here, and we've got, tomorrow we got not severe weather, just heavy rains. So I brought the chop saw inside, and I put the rip saw, table saw, actually on the porch. So if I wanna work tomorrow, I can actually come over here and work. I can hook a vacuum up. I can hook the shop vac up to this, and I could be ripping on the porch. So anyways, I'll give you an update. That's where we are, and talk to you later.